Hello and welcome. I'm Brittany Elliott. I help mothers reconnect with themselves through self-care so they can create a loving and fulfilling relationship with themselves. Thank you for being here. This podcast is all about simple, sustainable self-care that will help you navigate your motherhood journey and thrive as a woman. We are all at different stages of our motherhood journey while overcoming different challenges along the way. And we are all women with passions, goals, gifts, and talents that didn't stop when our kids came into our lives. Motherhood is easy to get lost in, and it's a big change. Change is growth, and growth can be messy, exhausting, overwhelming, beautiful, and amazing. In each episode, I hope you find a healthy mix of inspiration, motivation, and accountability as you continue navigating your motherhood journey. This is what self-care looks like. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to What Self-Care Looks Like. I am Brittany Elliott. I am a self-care and mom life management coach. I help working moms reconnect with themselves through self-care, all by really ditching burnout, overwhelm, resentment, so that you can feel vibrant, empowered, and fulfilled within your motherhood experience. And I do all of that primarily through group coaching. My program is called Reconnect. You can learn more at back2in5.com. I also facilitate workshops, sell journals, and do everything I can to really meet and connect with working moms like you. So today's episode is going to be 3 parts maybe. In this first part, we're going to talk about an overall wellness approach to self-care, which, yes, I have talked about before in the past, but that really is the bread and butter to back to you in 5, and it's the foundation of everything that is your self-care routine. Then I'm going to tell you a little story about me, and then I'm going to give you a few simple self-care activities that you can take into this week so you can enhance your self-care routine. So first, let's talk about an overall wellness approach to self-care. So an overall wellness approach to self-care is one that takes into account your social wellness, physical wellness, spiritual wellness, emotional wellness, and intellectual wellness. The 5 wellness points all work together to help you feel the most whole, balanced, and connected to yourself. So think of your overall wellness as a circle or a pie or a pizza. Each wellness point represents an equal chunk. And I have a really solid physical wellness routine. I work out 4 to 5 days per week in the mornings. I do cardio and weight training. I prefer more cardio stuff. Weight training is hard, but I do it because it's good for my body. I feel good. I look good. I'm confident in my body. However, I do get overwhelmed sometimes and I get stressed sometimes. And so when that does happen, I can't just add another workout into my week because my physical wellness bucket is already full. When I get stressed, overwhelmed, starting to feel any type of tension or resentment, I have to go to one of my other wellness points. Typically for me, it's between social wellness or emotional wellness. When it comes to my social wellness, if I'm starting to feel depleted there, it's typically because I haven't spent that much time with my husband. So I haven't had much one-on-one time with him. My emotional wellness, when that gets depleted, some of that comes from not spending enough one-on-one time with myself. That could be because I haven't been intentional enough with my journaling. So it's very important to understand where you are with these wellness points so that you are prioritizing your self-care routine, or I should say the activities in your self-care routine, so that you can boost and impact the wellness points you need most. So now I'm going to define each wellness point. Social wellness is the ability to create, maintain, and promote good relationships with others. Physical wellness promotes proper care of our bodies for optimal health and functioning. Spiritual wellness is being connected to something greater than yourself. Emotional wellness is the ability to experience, manage, and express feelings appropriately. And intellectual wellness is recognizing your creative abilities and finding ways to expand knowledge and skills. So, how can you ensure that as a busy working mom, you approach self care with your overall wellness in mind? You'll do it through a very intentional, simple, and sustainable self care routine that prioritizes your needs. So, there's a mindset shift that you will have to adopt when doing this. And this may disappoint you, but self care is not massages, brunch, girls' trips, manicures, and pedicures. Hear me out though. These are all really great self care activities. They're really great activities overall. And they can be very energizing, they can be very relaxing. But the setback with these activities is that they can't be done every day. They're not budget friendly for every day, they're not simple enough for every day, and they're just not sustainable. And self care really does have to be the daily practice of protecting your well being and happiness. So when it comes to building your self care routine, you have to build an appreciation for the activities you can do, even the activities that don't look and feel as luxurious as a day at the spa. And you need to know where you are so that you know where you are going. So it's very important to take the time to reflect on which wellness points do you need to put your intention behind to get those boosted. So take some time to reflect using the wellness quiz. And you can grab that at back2and5.com/quiz. It's free. It will take you about 5 to 10 minutes to complete. And it really helps you to determine which wellness point or points you need to start with in your self-care routine. And then you'll be continuously supported because you'll know which self-care activities will impact each wellness point. So you won't be getting started on your own. So now I want to talk about me for a second, just for a little bit. So back in 2020, I suffered from a shattered sense of self. I call it a shattered sense of self. It was just very much an extreme identity crisis. And it was really the result of the whiplash I had from the fast pace of my life and all the changes I had experienced. So in 2017, I met my husband. 2018, I had our daughter. 2019, we got married. 2020, we were shopping for a house, and then the pandemic came and locked everything down. And at that point, I had no choice but to slow down due to the pandemic. And once I did that, I realized how disconnected I had been from myself. So, going from being a single woman who only had to look really after myself and to prioritize me, it was a really big transition to become a mother and become a wife and have all these duties and responsibilities. And that was really the first time, maybe not the first time, but the first time really in my adult life that I felt the societal pressures of what being a woman was almost, and how limiting society views mothers. And also, I realized that I had not been taking the time to settle into all of those life changes. It was very much like, I'm engaged now. Okay, let's start planning this wedding. We have this baby. Let's jump into motherhood without really asking questions of what type of mother do I want to be? How does motherhood look for me? How does marriage look like for us? And having those conversations. So I had a lot of doubt and uncertainty which within myself, not within my mothering skills, but I just really didn't, I just didn't trust myself. And that was the first time I remember just really not trusting in my abilities and just being on such a large learning curve. So I don't know, it's slightly hard to explain, but I can say I didn't feel like me. I just felt very disconnected from my intuition and my thoughts and my emotions, and I was lost. So I got to work on reconnection and making myself happy. And that started as taking my time in the shower and using that time to decompress. Because for me, One of the first things that I deprived from in my mission to be a good mother and to self-sacrifice to be a good mother was I completely cut down how much time I was taking in the bathroom, specifically in the shower. So before, prior to becoming a mother, I would decompress in the shower. There was music and candles and bubbles, and it was just a whole thing. And I really take my time and wash the day away and reflect and all that in there. And I wasn't doing that anymore because I was like, okay, I can't take too long in the shower because she'll need me. And in the shower, I can't really hear her. And then when she got older, I was very loose with my boundaries. I would just let her come in and out of the bathroom when I was in there. And then, even more so because of that, I was taking less time in there. So I really took back control of that and was spending more time in the shower just to decompress. And then I started listening to the music that I enjoyed in there, brought aromatherapy back into it with candles. I couldn't think of the word, with candles, and just really was intentional about reflecting and connecting with my thoughts and my intuition while in the shower, and just letting the steam from the shower just really promote not just creativity, but a lot of self connection. After that, I added journaling, which was a very easy transition because once I was decompressing, I was flooded with all these thoughts. And so then I needed to brain dump those thoughts into a journal. So then I started journaling. And so at first, I was just journaling. Just free writing in a journal. And then later on is when I developed my own line of journals. So now there's a daily journal that I offer, vision board journal, a reconnection journal, and the mental load journal that I offer, back5.com/journals. But really, all of that came from understanding the value of journaling and brain dumping and being able to get your thoughts out and to organize them on paper. Very important. After that, I added a regular skincare routine because prior to becoming a mother, I was really, really big on um, consistency with my self-care routine. And in my past life, I worked in the spa industry. And so I knew the importance of skincare and having a skincare regimen, but all that just it just went out the window for me when I was just focusing on motherhood, and I felt like it was just a luxury that I couldn't, take advantage of anymore. Which I'm not sure if that happened for you. Let me know if there were things that you stopped doing when you became a mother because you felt like there was no room for it anymore. So let me know because I'm curious to know about that. Then after that, I started prioritizing movement. So I started exercising, specifically doing walk at home type of thing. So on YouTube, I did walk at home videos. Now it's called Walk, Run, Lift, but the brand originally was like Walk Away the Pounds and then Walk at Home, with Leslie Sansone, or maybe it's Leslie Sansoni. Not really sure about the pronunciation of her last name, but she was like the OG walk at home person. And I remember my mom had like the VHS tapes of her. Like she was like old school from my mom's generation. But I always loved her approach to her workouts. I always loved her energy. And I would do those. I just found free videos on YouTube and I would work out to those. And there was a little bit of nostalgia in there because I remember being younger and doing those workouts with my mom when she would be on her weight loss journey. But just prioritizing movement, she had like 10 and 15-minute workouts. So I would do those. Then I started incorporating stretching and then short yoga flows. And then I started going outside and taking walks. So that was next. And then I was able to really spend more time with my family, like just the three of us, without the obligation of being anywhere else. And that came out of being in lockdown because we weren't leaving. And I was working from home for some time. And our daughter was 2 at the time. And my husband, although his job was an essential worker role, so he was still going to work, during the lockdown, which was pretty stressful because then he would come home and basically strip down outside the house and like come in through the garage and take everything off and then spray himself down and then be straight in the shower and all that stuff. That was kind of stressful, but it created space for us to spend time together. And from that time, I learned that I was actually really happy with my life, but I couldn't recognize that or appreciate it if I continued to allow that disconnection from myself to become a cycle. So, self care became a way of life for me. Once I saw myself through that shattered sense of self, I started talking to my mom friends. Like, hey, have you felt like this? Have you felt like you lost yourself in motherhood? Have you felt that you've been self sacrificing for the sake of being a good mother? And a lot of them could really relate to that. And they kind of became my first, community of moms. And a lot of my friends, we became mothers at different times in our life. So it wasn't something that was happening to all of us at once. But one of my friends, her daughter and my daughter, maybe 6 months apart, maybe less. So we were kind of in step. And so she was a really, really good resource for kind of testing all the things that I do now. And so I learned that spending 5 minutes each day focusing on my overall wellness really helped. And they found it so impactful. And I packaged all of that up. And that was back in 2020. And then I started coaching mothers in 2021. So even my business is part of my own self-care routine. And I have a true passion for helping working moms like you just gain back control of your life and not losing yourself in motherhood. Becoming a mother is a part of you. It's not all of you. The woman who you are and the value that you bring just as the individual that you are is very important. And you need all of that to show up and be a great mother. And so many women leave pieces of themselves behind for the sake of motherhood. And a lot of that is modeled to us from childhood, and just the way that women, moms especially, are depicted in like movies, for example, and in pop culture. That impacts that societal expectations, pressures, all of those things that we have talked about in past episodes and that I will probably be talking about again and again and again impact us. So it's very near and dear to me when I talk about this mission of reconnecting with yourself through self-care and not allowing that narrative of self-sacrifice to control you, and to really focus on feeling vibrant, empowered, and fulfilled in your motherhood experience. Because in the years that I've been working with mothers, so many feel that as much as they love their children, they really dislike the motherhood experience. And it's because of all those external factors and all the pressure and even the internalized pressure that we have. So I have been enjoying doing the work where I'm freeing you of all of that and just showing you a new approach. So now I am going to give you some simple activities that will impact each wellness point so you can start your path to reconnection through a simple self-care routine. So I'm just going to give you an activity for each wellness point. So social wellness activity. Eat dinner with the family all together at the table with no distractions. So no phones, no tablets. Don't watch TV. Just sit and connect. Solid social wellness activity. Physical wellness. 10 to 15 minutes of movement of your choice. It could be dancing, walking, lifting weights, stretching, yoga, doing jumping jacks, jumping rope, running, whatever you want to do. I always recommend walking because it's just so simple. It's such a simple movement. It's very impactful, but just prioritize 10 to 15 minutes of movement. Spiritual wellness activity, morning prayer and or meditation that connects you to something greater than yourself. If you do it outside in nature, you get double bonus points. So just taking that time to remember you are a part of something greater and you have everything that you need is here and available to you. You just have to reach out and take it and use it. Put it to good use. An emotional wellness activity, journal. So journal for 5 minutes. You can use an app in your phone. You can buy a journal from backto5.com/journals. You can grab just a notebook and free write. Go crazy. Write down how you feel. What's worrying you? And what are you looking forward to that day? What was your favorite part about the day? Get all of that out. And then you go from there. And from there, you start to goal set and really focus on the type of mother you want to be, the type of woman you want to be. And all of that comes from improving your emotional wellness. Now, these are not the only activities that you can do for each wellness point. However, these are really good low barrier starter ones for you. For intellectual wellness, mindset work is key. So you can do that via like reading books or listening to podcasts, find a blog that you really like to follow, but just doing that mindset work and focusing on developing a growth mindset and understanding that even though there are times, a lot of times, we are not in control of outcomes, what's going to happen in the end, but we are always in control of our input, how much effort we are putting into things. And so control what you can, focus there. That's how I want you to start with these super simple activities. My self-care now is way more elaborate than back in 2020, but at its core, it's packed with simple, sustainable self-care activities. I'm a wife and a mom and a daughter. I have a business. I work full-time and I have household tasks and all the things. So I know how tough it is. Tough doesn't mean impossible. Tough means you have to be organized and align your priorities with your values. And I completely understand that sometimes you just need a little extra push and support. So head on over to backto5.com/30 days. I put together 30 days of self-care activities. I'm sending them straight to your email. You don't have to worry about anything. They're going to come to your inbox. You'll just read the email and you'll do the thing. That's it. All the self-care activities are simple, budget-friendly, and they will help you feel more connected to yourself. It's only $15 and it will improve all 5 of your wellness points. I hope you learned something today. So subscribe to the show, share this episode with a mom who will benefit from these tips, and thank you for being here. And until we chat again, take care of yourself. Thank you for listening to What Self-Care Looks Like. Again, I am Brittany Elliott, a self-care and mom life management coach. I help working moms change their approach to motherhood so they can feel vibrant, empowered, and fulfilled in their motherhood journey. My group coaching program, Reconnect, is built around the 5 wellness pillars that will help you feel the most whole as you balance your motherhood role with your personal needs. So be sure to check in with yourself using the free wellness quiz at backto5.com/quiz.